All right, man. We are live on the gram. We are live on YouTube. Make sure we're live on Facebook here. Tonight's one of those nights, Al, man. We go with the cold intro. You know, we haven't had one of those nights in a while, maybe for the first time this year. No music, no monologue, no theatrics, man. KFTV post-game live. Presented by DraftKings, CP the franchise, Alex Shataros on the other side. And there's no intro tonight because we had ourselves a bum night, ladies and gentlemen. And the bums tonight were the New York Knicks. There's just no other way around it, man. Destroyed. Brutalized. Demolished. Embarrassed, punked, beat up, beat down. I mean, how many more adjectives do you want to use to describe this game? The Knicks went out there and did not show up. It was a John Cena night, right? We joke about that John Cena, you can't see me. They did not show up tonight. They were a complete zero, and literally zero when you look at, Mikal Bridges, 0 points. OG, 4 points, but even bigger. You had no shows from your big man. Point guard getting exposed on both ends of the floor. Bench getting exposed, literally, again. And in the end, when this was a battle of the number 1 team in the West, number 3 team in the East, MVP hopefuls, the real MVP showed out tonight. His name was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And he put on a basketball clinic. And it was so interesting because, everything we talked about on today's pre-show kind of came true. John Schmelk, when we shout out to John, and he was like, I wonder, which Shai's going to show up tonight. Because in the first matchup, he had 33 points. He was efficient, but he wasn't that, MVP will, right? And I even wondered, I'm like, damn, was this a Shai coming off of a back-to-back, or did we really do a great job on him? And tonight he said, nah, it was the former. I was just a little tired. Because tonight, the real MVP showed out on the Madison Square Garden floor, and it was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, bro. Talk about this one, man. This just disgraceful. Disgraceful, man.
Awful, man. I mean, this, just from the jump, I thought we were about to be in for what looked like to be a dogfight. For 5 minutes, we were stuck at 2-2, and then it's like, okay, this is going to be a low-scoring affair. Absolutely not. Thunder turned it up in the second quarter, just like the Knicks did, right? Last game, Knicks turned it up in the second quarter, owned the third. They just couldn't close out. Thunder said, we're going to show you how to actually be a championship contender team. We're going to show you how you turn it up, both ends of the court, defensively, offensively, and how to close out. And it was so bad, CP. This is how you know it was really bad. By the beginning of the fourth quarter, Tibbs waved the white flag and put in the bench.
That's how bad it was.
That's how you know it was that bad.
Yeah.
That's how you know it was that bad. And don't even look at the score. The score is so deceiving. 126-101.
No.
This team
They lost by 30, bro. They lost by 30.
Dude.
They lost by 30.
This team, it was ugly. There's so many things we could talk about. And I know people want to talk about Tibbs, this, that, and sure. There's blame to go all around. You want to get to Tibbs and do a little bit of that? Here's something. I didn't like starting the second quarter with the entire bench. At no point should Tom Thibodeau have both Brunson and Cat. Tonight, Bridges deserved to be on the bench, but at no point should you have no scores out there, especially when Deuce McBride is coming back from injury, hasn't shot a basketball in over a week, and now you're going to rely on him to be your scoring punch against the Thunder second unit that has Isaiah Joe, who's a bucket, all right? And you also got Jalen Williams out there. You got J-Dub out there, who's another good offensive scorer for them. How do you go about that? But regardless of X's and O's and stuff of that nature, the Knicks just showed up flat. They did not come out to play. They didn't execute defensively. This is the biggest thing. Defensively, they are atrocious, CP. They are this is a horrible defense. I talked about at the beginning of the season when we played the Boston Celtics. I said this team was going to give up too many threes. I did not like seeing what Boston did to us. And they did it. The Thunder did it again to us tonight, man. Isaiah Joe. All right. It wasn't Aaron Wiggins last time. It was Isaiah Joe tonight. Okay. This team shot 52% from downtown. And people were saying, oh, it's going to be an anomaly because it's only the Celtics. No. The Knicks are the sixth worst team at guarding the three in the league. They are the worst, one of the worst teams at guarding the three. Okay? If you're not going to play defense, you're not going to go far at all. And already this team is middle of the pack when it comes to protecting the paint. If you're not going to have a rim protector or good point of attack defense in a day and age where the NBA is about getting downhill and kicking out to threes or just getting layups, you're not going to survive, man. And this team's not going to survive when they play a team like the OKC Thunder. Because Shea was just making it look easy. Isaiah Joe was making it look easy. Jalen Williams was making it look easy. All right? Easy. And if you want to go compete with those guys, you got to give some sort of resistance. I saw zero resistance tonight. There has no showing of a top 10 defense at all. All right? You can even point to last season where we at least be in games and give it a dogfight. There was nothing. No effort, man.
The thing is that every year, even when we started this, like let's take the last 4 years where they made the playoffs, 3 out of the 4. Every year they've had at least one game where similar to this, where they just let go of the rope and it's brutal. The issue is, they have flaws that are being exposed night in and night out. Like, this isn't just one of those, like, aberration. Like, all right, it's one of those nights, they take off. Hey, this other team got hot. You toss it to the game, and these are legit flaws that are being exposed that I'm just not sure there is a quick fix or a good fix for. The perimeter defense, point of attack. The captain is a sitting duck. All they did was Shea, guard, pick and roll, get the captain on him, go to work. Go to work. Cat in the drop coverage. This is the drop
That's
coverage
a walk
killer.
in the park,
man.
Right,
this is the drop coverage killer right here, right? Like holes, Isaiah Joe, right? The first game it was, put some respect on this kid's name. It was Wiggins.
Aaron Wiggins.
Right? And I'm like, damn, Wiggins went out, but Joe didn't even, because, Joe's a flamethrower. He didn't even do. So Joe had to make up for last week's dud and put it on us in our building. Absolute flamethrower from downtown. He
31 tonight,
bro,
CP.
He hit 1-3 from where Tibbs was standing, from the Chase logo. It was that bad, bro. And from your front end guys to the bench, look, I know McBride is coming back. He's got to reconfigure the gauges. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give McBride some time to get back up to speed and fine-tune the cannon. Because, right, all his joints was long. It was all the shots. It was a long night. It was a tough night at the park for McBride, but we're going to give him some time. But, Shamet getting exposed. Payne getting exposed. Where's the fix for that?
Dude, you need a top 10 defense. It ain't showing. This is not, and this is where, this is what we had a nice December, but this is the real stuff. All right. Now we're getting to the real part. Now we're getting to the meat of the season where it's like, all right, we got these difficult teams. We got Milwaukee on Sunday, bro. They have bounced back from where we beat them. Okay. I'm very curious to see where the Knicks stand up against them, because you have to make something defensively. Like, if you can't guard anybody, your offense can look great on some nights, as we see against the Denver Nuggets. But when it's not going, and it was not going tonight, all right? Even the good looks that they had, Bridges bricking, OG bricking, like, they tried to get their game going, which is, all right, we're going to drive, kick. They try to find guys cutting, didn't do any of that. And you see what happens when this team can't guard. The offense just goes out the window, and these guys get frustrated.
They get into hero ball, bro. It gets in the hero ball again.
Dude, I saw Josh Hart dribble going side to side and do a step back there. I'm like, that is not your game. That is not your game whatsoever. It is in rhythm, simple playing. That is your game. Cat didn't play his game tonight. Brunson tried to do something, but, you got to shoot some threes too, man, especially in the third quarter where you're trying to make a comeback. You can't just be all in the middle. And then Bridges, he's not even getting to his, he's trying to get to his mid-range. He's not cutting. I don't see any back doors. I don't see getting out in transition. I don't see any of those things, man. And so if the fact of the matter is that if you can't guard defensively and your energy is all predicated on how well you're playing offensively, you're not going to go far. because the offense could come and go, as we've seen. All right, we've seen it already. This team could be lethal on some nights and gone the next. And we just played the number one defensive team in the league, who doesn't even have Caruso out there and Chet.
Don't have
Okay, if they have both those guys, this is much worse than what it was tonight. All right, because who's guarding Chet? Who's guarding iHeart? And CP, you talk about what's the silver bullet for this team. We don't have height. We don't have athleticism. It keeps showing up time and time again. I know we played OKC last week, but it is showing. If you don't have youth, athleticism, and true like height on this team, where are we going, man? Like, no one can guard in the pick and roll. No one can guard on no one can close out on threes. Like,
it's bad.
What are we doing over here?
It's bad, man. No rhythm whatsoever offensively. And again, these are the nights, man. These are the nights offensively where I question, is this team too much with the shooting threes? They have no grit when it comes to attacking the basket off the dribble. Everything is a forced shot. Brunson, forced shot. Bridges, Town, like everything is a force. McBride, everything he was shooting out there was a forced shot. No one to break down a defense and attack the basket consistently. Played right into this team's hands. Right into this team's hand. And Oklahoma City on the other end was just walking into easy offense every time. Every time. Getting into the paint and just coasting on the other side with no resistance, man. None. Soft, as Travie Trav said in the chat. And one of the things I said today on today's show, I said, we're going to see how Towns is feeling in this game. We're going to see. We're going to see. And right away, like, don't go to him. No exploiting of the smaller matchups like he did in the first game. It's a problem, man. It's a problem. Because this is what I see in the playoffs. This is the type of stuff I see in the playoffs. Where it becomes almost a disappearing act. That you got a 7-foot MVP candidate player that's not impacting big games. That's what I'm fearful of, bro. That's what I'm fearful of.
And the thing is, man, is that if you're just so heavily offensive and you can't do anything defensively and you're looking like this, that's a problem. It's an absolute problem. And this is what I talked about on Game of the Week, right? It's like I wanted Cat to start this game off just imposing his will. We did that late last game. We've seen that happen where you get the ball to Cat late, where was with the second unit, I think, against the Chicago Bulls. And you're like, why didn't we do that earlier? Why didn't we get to Cat earlier? Because he's dominating right now in the second half against the Bulls game. You saw it against OKC. He's just working the paint. Exploit them. They're going to try to exploit you. And they did that. They did the same thing again tonight, CP. Mark Dagnall had the same game plan. Put iHeart on Hart. Put J-Dub on Cat. And they talked about what I just talked about with Brandon last night. They're going to use iHeart as the weak defender and bait him. And see, you saw what happened. Cat tried to back down J-Dub from 3. What are we doing? Haven't we seen that before?
What do you think Drew Holiday and the Celtics going to do?
Dude, but have we not seen that before with another big that tried to back somebody down from the 3, and then next thing you know, you see the double team coming, and it just doesn't work? What are we doing? Like, you can't. This is where it's like, and this is where you want to talk about like the players not doing well. This is what I'm saying for like Tibbs. Like, I know the offense can do it and like get there. Tibbs, you got to talk to the guys and say, hey, let's look for how we get a better look for Cat. How do we get a better look for JB? How do we get a better look for somebody? And so everyone's involved in this loss. It goes for everybody. Everybody. There is no one exempt from this loss tonight. And so I don't even know as a coach how you watch Cat even make that play right there and say, you know what, that's like, that should have been stop. All hands. We got to get down to the post. Get down to the post. Do a pick and roll. Get iHeart on him. What are we doing? Why are we isolating him on the wing? Nonsense.
These are the games I fear, man. Like, listen, man, he's having an outstanding year. He's been the most consistent player of the team all year. And when he has those type of performances, you get the typical comments. CP, you said he was soft. Oh, you didn't want to trade for him. You said he was soft. You said, I said, just wait. Money time. Money time. All that regular season 9-game winning streak is hot. Money time. The big games against the top defenses. Where are you going to be? Now, is it the knee? I don't know. That's what I said on today's pregame. Like, we're going to see, is his knee feeling well if he's going to be ready to battle tonight? They had to be ready to battle tonight. This is a number one defense, one of the best teams in the league, because Cleveland took that from them on Wednesday night. They lost to Cleveland. What do you think they're going to do coming into Madison Square Garden? You think they're going to lay down for you?
I said that on Game of the Week last night, man. I said, yo, they're angry. They just lost one.
Like they're going to be ready to come in your building to smack you around again, man. And these guys laid down fast, bro.
Bro, and how do you allow... How was OKC not comfortable on the second game of a back-to-back at their crib, but yet they come to your crib and they just take off their shoes, they go in the fridge, they pop down on the couch, they turn on the TV. He said, F the channel you're watching, I'm going to put on a different channel. That is what happened tonight. They were so comfortable, man, so comfortable that even the crowd was like, I don't even know how. You had booze in Madison Square Garden tonight.
Rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Rightfully so, man. Rightfully so, man. We couldn't even give a good intro. Got scrubbed out quick. Both teams bricking early. It was a blinking contest. And before you know it, Isaiah Joe and the Thunder and SGA and everybody just opened the floodgates on these guys. Just absolutely no resistance, man. Call us up on the KFTV Discord. We're working on a new number for the phones. Block Talk Radio is going out of business, so we gotta get a new switchboard. So that phone number is now extinct or defunct, if you will. So just use the Discord for now if you want to call us up until we get a new phone number. We should be getting that in a couple of days. But anyway, to the Discord we go, man. LD on the Discord. Go ahead and unmute your mic. All right, LD, I see volume levels, but I don't hear you. So drop out and then jump back in. LD, drop out the Discord and then jump back in. All right, Redman, do we have Redman here? Do we have Redman yet? LD, are you there? We'll try LD again. Let's see. LD, can you hear? All right. We will wait for these guys to load up. Salute to everybody in the chat. STG Nick, are you there in the Discord? I'm not hearing anybody. All right, STG, maybe drop out. Let me just make sure it's not me. I should be good. We should be good here. Yeah, we're good here. Check. Yeah, we're good. All right, STG, drop out and jump back in. LD, drop back, and jump back in. Sayquizzy, are you on the Discord? Go ahead and unmute your mic. All right, I'm not getting, so maybe it's me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and reset the Discord. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and Alex in the building. Knicks didn't show up tonight in a big game against OKC Thunder. There's your game summary. Call us up, man. Tell us why you're mad. Let us know what you think. We got a lot of post-game sound bites from the team. Some interesting ones, too, Al. Some interesting ones. We got to get to that. All right, STG Nick, Stadium Report. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, guys? That was definitely, in my opinion, the worst loss of the season, at least at home. The vibes were down bad. I mean, like Alex said, I thought this was going to be a dogfight, grinded out game. It was like 2-2 for a while. But it quickly, in that second quarter, turned upside down. The loudest boos I've heard in the Garden in a long time, probably since like 22-23, before we went on that 8-game winning streak. We played Dallas. We lost that game in the afternoon. Then we played Cleveland, and we won like 8 straight. Like, it was like that. There were loud boos. I thought like they just like weren't getting back on defense a few times. There was a point there in the second quarter where the effort level was not there. I thought in the second half there was a little more effort, I guess, but overall they didn't have it.
Brutal.
Josh tried. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Nah, brutal, man. It brutal to watch. I'm sure it was even worse in person.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't heard like I said, like I haven't heard the Garden like be that silent with boos in a while.
Yeah.
One thing like that I want to bring up too is like I'm not a minutes police person, and for all the people in the chat, like they should be happy tonight. The minutes were distributed. But I was kind of shocked that like Kolek didn't play more there in that fourth quarter. The game was kind of done, but he kept Payne. Payne was like, "This is my time to shine." He played pretty much almost the whole fourth. He had like 9 or whatever in the fourth. But yeah, I mean, from those bench guys, I thought also like in the limited minutes, you saw Haporti looked okay in those limited
Yeah.
minutes.
Well,
Active, and then also
he's trying to double up on energy to try to get his playing time because I'm sure he's confused as to why he's out the rotation.
Definitely. And also, I don't think Precious even played in the second half. Not sure if that was just a matchups thing or what it was, but he didn't play in the second half. So,
yeah.
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 But
tough one, man. Hang in there, man. Hopefully Sunday we can get a bounce back against the Bucks.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. STG Nick on the Discord. Shout out to everybody that pulled up at Clinton Hall 36 for the watch party. Shout out DJ Eric L. Beats and everybody that pulled up, man. Still, had a good time vibing with the people. Just wasn't the result we were looking for. We're going to get to the game sound bites in a little bit. LD, go ahead and unmute your mic. LD.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear now. We good. Had to just
Coach Pivotal, what's going on, man?
What's good? What's good, man?
It's good. I'm going to keep it quick.
Yeah.
I do not, you mentioned something about Cat. We're not going to blame any players. What we're not going to do, we're not going to blame Cat. We're not going to blame Josh Hart. We're not going to blame Brunson. We're not blaming any players.
Why not?
Until we specify how Coach Tibbs does not make the game easy for them.
What is
if Dikembe Mutombo went 0 for 100 from 3, the question is not why is he not making his shots or why is he missing his shots. The question is why is Coach putting him at 3 to begin with? Karl Anthony Towns is going to do what Karl Anthony Towns is going to do. Number one, we should not depend on him to have to put the ball on the floor because we have enough talent to distribute the ball. Like this year is getting a little bit better, but every year we've been under Tibbs, we've ranked dead last in team assist.
Yes.
We've ranked dead last in pick and roll for the roll man, dead last in pace. Like, we cannot keep saying we're going to see these players fail in the playoffs when we see those red flags in the regular season. The only difference is in previous years, we could get away with it playing against average teams. Under the new CBA, with the 3-point in the game now and the youth, any given day is a possible loss. So you could play a team like Detroit, and because of the new CBA, you can't really tank anymore. You kind of have to get the best out of your roster. So a lot of the things that we see when we play contenders, we cannot blame these players. When we get into the playoffs and they have these bad habits that coach is playing them into, right? And they get exposed by good defense in the playoffs. We can't keep blaming the players if we're seeing what the coach keeps ignoring. We can't keep doing that. We just can't. The coach is not doing his job effectively enough. Simple and plain.
So how do you fix the defense?
How you fix the defense? Stop playing them for 40 minutes each game because you need your legs to play good
40
defense.
minutes tonight, though.
You played them the whole year, 40 minutes of game too. You're leading the league in like 5 of your starters are leading the league 15 minutes or 40 minutes in the top 15. So stop playing them so much and diversify so their legs are not tired. There's no way anybody's looking at Jalen Brunson right now and he looks like he has energy. The dude looks tired from the very start of the game. He also kind of looks like he's not injured, but he's trying really hard to just move around. The coach needs to do a better job, point blank, because what we always do is we'll blame Julius Randle, even though he has his flaws. But if the coach keeps playing him into his flaws, I mean, you can't blame the players, man. We got to hold the coach accountable. He's not doing a good enough job, point blank, period. Look at Hawk He comes into the game and he's obviously better than Sims, but he's not playing. The dude who just called earlier made a good point. Kolek is sitting on the bench. For what? We're down by 185 million points. Put him in the game. Like, the coach is just not doing his job.
Yeah, but listen, man, I'm blaming every single player on this team tonight. They play. These are the guys that you play. These are the guys that you pay max contracts to, and they all wet the bed tonight in their own building. From Brunson to Towns to Wingstop, everybody was bad tonight. Everybody. I'm putting this on the players, man.
There's like...
Tibbs ain't out there shooting 12% from 3. They're stinking up the joint. Yeah.
I get from like I said, I get from an X's and O standpoint, but this team was always going to come into the season with defensive questions from the get-go. Bro, we knew Brunson wasn't a lockdown defender, and we know that Cat isn't a lockdown defender. I don't care how well rested they are, they're not going to magically
They are what they
become
are.
lockdown defenders. We've seen this. Early in the season, we've seen this against the Rockets. Early in the season, did we not watch on national television what the Dallas Mavericks did to the New York Knicks? They embarrassed them like we got embarrassed tonight.
Yeah.
That was earlier in the season. So defense, questionable then. Defense, questionable now. It's not going to change. And let me say this. If a night for you isn't enough as an NBA player who should be well conditioned to just be good for 32, 36, 29, 33, and 30 minutes tonight, we got some serious problems if you can't be that well conditioned.
Yeah. Oh, and here come the minutes police. Oh, they're so tired. It's the Tibbs. It's the minutes. Here come the minutes police. These $1 million max player athletes, they're down 70 to 42 at halftime with a game of rest. And we're still blaming the coach for the minutes. Oh, they can't hang. Well, if they can't hang, then this is not a championship team. Go get a brand new roster. The excuses about the minutes, they got the doors blown off them early in this game.
Wait a minute, hold on. Can I ask you a question,
So
CP?
if that's the case, if they're tired, throw the towel in on the season and quit. Because there's no difference. They're playing every other night, right? All right, swap it in. Throw Kolick and Huck Porty, throw them in for the start and give these guys a couple of days off.
Wait a minute. Wasn't this the same team that dealt with a lot of injuries with Julius last season, Mitch, and then we had
give
all
me
of our
a
bench
break.
players?
What are we talking? Is this not NBA basketball? These people got so soft we come from the 90s, man. These guys are playing 2 days, we're practicing 2 days, and playing in games. By the halftime, this game was over with. They had a night to rest and chill, do podcasts, all of that. Don't give me the minutes excuse when they're getting the doors blown off by 30 points in the first half. They stunk up the joint. Go ahead, bro.
Those are all facts. This is the same team, CP, that dealt with a crap ton of injuries last year. We didn't have Randall. We didn't have Mitch. We traded Grimes. And yet we watched Josh Hart continuously play 40 minutes after 40 minutes. We watched Dante Brunson, all these dudes last season. By the All-Star break, by the way, from January on, play the same amount of minutes. Go into the postseason, take down Philly, and make it to the second round. Go to a Game 7 to a healthy Pacers team. Took them to Game 7 while they were injured, by the way. I just can't buy like half. We're not even. What are we? Not even halfway through the season.
We're almost. It's 39 games, and these people in the chat tell me these guys can't handle anymore. So then throw in the white towel, wave the white flag, because they can't make it. Possibly can't make it to the next game. They're tired already. So what are we paying them for? So to everybody in the chat, man. Hit that thumbs up on for your post. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. Knicks got washed tonight, man. 126 to 101. Let us know why you're mad, man. Tell us why you're mad. Knicks therapy session tonight. Do we have Sayquizzy on the Discord? Sayquizzy, how are you?
Yo, you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm heated right now.
Okay.
Today was a terrible game. We let somebody named Joe drop more points than OG and Bridges combined. Bro had 23 points in the first quarter. We need to put other teams in Toronto jerseys because that's the only time OG actually wakes up for a game because that was terrible. Like, this is the game I actually wanted, and we just lost to them. So it's like, and then Tibbs, I'm not even talking about the minutes. I'm mad about this part. The game plan from the OKC game, we had Bridges posting up SGA. Where was that today? Bro was just shooting threes all day.
Yeah.
No game plan. We just give it to Brunson. Here, dribble, post up, pump fake. That don't work. Pass it to the corner. That don't work. Pass it to Cat in the post. And then the teams that's playing Cat with a smaller player, that's getting annoying because I know Boston is going to do that. and we struggle. Like Boston is going to do that, and that's a team that we're going to have to beat. It's early, but right now we might end up playing Boston second round.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then we shooting 12% from the three. Like, defense is terrible. Brunson was shooting free throws. After he made it, they inbound the ball. Is a man wide open in the corner.
Wide open.
You let that happen. Like, you just made free throws.
Wide open.
Like, this was a terrible game. Like, they got to wake up because right now, like, we looking like pretenders right now. There ain't no contenders right now. It's bad.
Yeah. So it's looking
But
pretty
that's
bad.
what I got to say.
All good, my guy. Call back anytime, man. Good to hear from you. And this is what we do, Al. You know, we just air out our grievances. And you just got to get it out. You know? You know what I'm saying?
Frustrating, bro. Frustrating.
I'm with Quizzy though. Like I that was another frustrating part. Like, well, I you know what? And if you want to criticize the coach on that, sure. Where was the game plan from the first game? It was working very well, you know. But what was also funny though, like I don't know if you noticed this, but and maybe this was coming from the bench or from the crowd, but did you notice that SGA's defense turned up a notch? In that, I believe it was like the third quarter when he started like really dominating. I don't know if somebody put a battery in his back, but somehow he got the message that everyone thought he was the weakest defender on an already terrific defense, and he just started schooling Brunson. Picked his pockets twice, picked up a block. He just started going into overdrive on the defensive end. So that was an MVP clinic. That was all part of the SGA experience that we were witness to. You know? All part of the experience, man.
Yo, man, that's why he's an MVP.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, you look at it like when between him and Isaiah Joe, he's like, yo, I'm going to make this look easy tonight.
Yeah.
Mid-range, getting downhill, doing whatever he wanted. No one could stop him. Nobody.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Setting guys up. That is what an MVP player does. That is the caliber of play when you think about the award. How do they elevate the team, right? What makes them take it to another level? You just saw tonight. And that's why when we look at a guy who's supposed to be in top 5 and he's a disappearing act, numbers look great, man. But you can't just go by numbers.
Can't go by numbers.
You gotta show up in the big moments.
Go by numbers.
Gotta show up in the big moments.
Let me get some super chats in from the family. Shout out to Nigel Greaves, our $5 super chat says, I'm walking over to the garden, from the garden to Clinton Hall for a beverage. Hopefully some of y'all will be there, help me get through this post game. Well, we here for post game. Nigel, I hope you are at Clinton Hall. Shout out to our guys over there. Still had a great time. Shout out to Eric L. Beats. Robin Chowdhury, Al, up there he's in Calgary. Franchise channel member. $10 super chat says, I don't even have words for today, but thank you guys for the therapy. Shout out to Robin, man. He's a day one for us.
Bro, I saw people tweeting who were from the game, how upset they were ready to leave. I saw people tweeting how they were turning off the TVs. They just changed to a different channel. Everybody's upset, man, because for these matchups, this is where you show where your worth is. This is where you show where your weight class is.
Yeah.
And if the weight class is I'm about to be punked in my own home court, you don't have to travel. Zero travel. You just go home, drive in. This team's on the road.
Tough.
This team came in on the road.
Yeah.
And yet they looked refreshed, ready to go, and said, we're going to make it a casual day. Light work for us.
Shout out to the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D. Al, $5 super chat, franchise channel member. Throw a hashtag PE in the chat. He says, Isaiah Joe and Wiggins, go figure. I'll take OG and Bridges any day. But tonight our wings got fried. Wingstop got fried up. All flat. All their plays look 6'8". Huck looked the best today. And that's the thing, man. It's like they're throwing out smaller defense and still dominating. And we didn't take advantage of that.
And you saw how Tibbs, once again, I didn't like that Tibbs started with the second unit, the entire second unit for the second quarter.
Can't do that.
Game was 31-17. By the time it got to, 9, It was not, I'm looking for right here where Karl-Anthony Towns entered the game. At 9:09, Cat enters the game for Precious. The game went from 31-17 to 43-24. 3 minutes, not even.
Yeah.
That was your bench work. That was the bench. This is why when we talk about, like, we don't have that luxury as we did in years past.
Don't have it.
We don't have 9-10 deep, which Tibb was comfortable doing in years past. In 3 minutes.
Yo, they're brutal. They are brutal.
You went from 31-17 to 43-24.
Yeah. Oh, campaigns in? Okay. Dinner time.
Isaiah Joe said, oh,
No, campaigns in? Okay. Dinner time.
This is why, man, it's like, I get it. I get the Tibbs thing about playing minutes, but when you just see in 3 minutes a team gives up that many points and then you got to put your starter back in,
brutal.
That just tells you what this bench is, man. And so, like, Tibbs can stagger, but you can't just leave a guy on an island either. You can't leave your best player on an island and think that they're just going to will everything away. So he's got Tibbs. Like I said, Tibbs did not coach a good game in this one. I'm not saying that he coached a perfect game at all in this one. He's got his fair share of blames. We know his flaws, that for sure. But when it comes to, like, minutes, man, this in a small sample, 3 minutes is why the bench, and he tried, man. He wanted to give these guys rest. And the bench started in the first quarter, too.
These guys,
not good enough, man.
They're just not good, man. Shout out to our guy, Eric L. Beats, man. $20 super chat from the resident DJ of KFTV. Said half this fan base would not have survived that Pat Riley and Jeff Van Gundy did with their respective Knicks teams in the 90s. Those teams had their starters playing over 35 minutes in the regular season and playoffs. That's all I'm saying, man. Vincent Huang, our franchise channel member, sends us a Taiwanese super chat, $75. Shout out to Vincent. He says, we play like we're the Washington Wizards tonight. I missed the win streak from December. Yeah, it seemed like many moons ago this team went on a 9-0 streak. Uh-oh. Hang on. I got to cue this up for the next super chat. Here we go. $20 super chat from Mr. Friday Night Knicks. Oh, and if you were watching the MSG telecast, he was styling and profiling tonight. I don't know if he was in Dolan seats. Oh, he was flexing heavy tonight.
He was looking real cozy out there.
Yeah, he was looking very bougie tonight in Celebrity Row. But here he goes, a $20 super chat. Says, Knicks only have one player that draws double teams. They're not going to beat any top teams without Julius Randle type player. By the way, fix the damn Discord I tried calling. All right, so he claims he's on the Discord. I don't know, Robert. Are you on the Discord? I don't see you, man. He's Sergeant Sources, so you got to take everything with a grain of salt. He says he's on the Discord, which means he's probably just on Twitter trying to figure it out. That's probably what that means. Yeah, he was flexing heavy. Let me pull this one up here. Here goes Sergeant Sources, man. This is what this guy does. Look at this guy, man. Flexing with our guy, Eli Manning, in the green room. Look at this guy. Look at this. Oh, what's he rocking? What is it? Oh, you got the denim jacket on. Looking like a little, like, Springsteen jacket. Was that a Rolex? Is that a Folex? What's the fake watcher? We got to submit this one, man. We need a scouting report on this.
Canal Street is not as busy as it once was,
That's
thanks
right.
to congestion pricing.
Yeah.
So he might have just been able to, scoot over there before the game, pick up something.
Yeah. We need the fake watch buster to get on this case, man. I need to know what kind of timepiece the Sergeant Sources is rocking at the Garden tonight, if it's real or not. Shout out to Sergeant Sources, man. We got to have some sort of entertainment tonight.
Probably says some sort of collab like Rolex Philippe, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Before we get to the soundbites, man, let's get to the key stats of the night. Brought to you guys by DraftKings Sportsbook. If there are any key stats to speak of. Hey, the 3-point shot again. Knicks get outscored. Similarly, OKC makes 14 threes, similar to what they did last week against the Knicks. So the Knicks get outscored 52-12 from downtown now. 52-12. Oh, I'm sorry, 42-12. If it makes you feel any better. They got outscored by 30 from downtown. Okay? All right. Now, let's get to the field goals. 38% from the field shooting for the Knicks to 54 for the Thunder. The Knicks lose the rebounding battle by 3. So, you talk about controlling the possessions. Couldn't do that. 38 defensive rebounds for the Thunder. Knicks could not get after it on the offensive side. They lose the assist battle 20-18. Turnovers, wasn't that costly, but, OKC didn't really need to turn the Knicks over. They just hit all their shots. But 12 Knicks turnovers led to 14 OKC points. 15 OKC turnovers led to 26 Knicks points. Knicks did win the points in the paint battle, 62-58. Largest lead of the night, 4 for the Knicks, 30 for the OKC Thunder out. 30.
Biggest disappointment, man, is where the assists have gone. Where are they going? Where's moving the rock, man? This team was like averaging 36, 40 assists, even against that first OKC game, man. I was like, okay, look at that.
Yeah.
Knicks are moving the rock. They gotten better this season. Talked about how a Tibbs-led team is usually dead last in assists. Dude, 18 assists is just, I know they were missing shots, but they weren't even working to get anything easy. There was no backdoor cutting. Not from OG, Hart, Bridges. Nothing easy tonight, man. No outlet passes. Cat not working the high post. It just, I don't know what the Knicks are doing over these last couple of games. They've completely gone away from what got them on that 9-game winning streak. They've completely gone away from what was working for them the beginning of the season. And they got to figure that out, man. They got to get back in the lab. They got to figure out what they're doing that's not working, because the isolation stuff, the last minute, shot clock is ending and you're going to step back threes and just ill-advised shots. We can't be having none of that, man. We can't be looking for bailout shots. Knicks got to go back in the lab, man, and work all this out. The assist thing is just brutal. For this team that has shown they could be a top offense, unacceptable. And obviously the three-point shooting. And 13%.
13%. Ghastly, as Clyde would say. Ghastly.
You got, God, man.
Ghastly, man.
I don't even want to talk about any other stats because it's just those things, man. Those are the two worst things I'm looking at. Awful. This whole game was awful, man. You can't even go by, the stats don't even give you justice of what really happened.
Nah. But the thing is, though, even with the threes, you could see how contagious it was with them just trying too hard to hit them. You could see how they were just out of a rhythm, all of them, on their jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just damn, man. It was just mentally they couldn't hit those shots, man. They were just aiming. A lot of aiming is what I'm looking for. Just didn't come within any type.
You saw that with
flow.
OG too. OG at the time, he was he took time.
OG.
It was he was trying to line it up.
That's who I'm talking about. Yeah,
bro, you're not playing beer pong over here, man. Just let that thing rip. Be comfortable. Be confident.
Nobody, including the dog, had confidence in their shots, man. Nobody.
You know what's really crazy, CP, about this is that this team was one that used to get relentlessly downhill, on a night-to-night basis, right? The last couple of seasons, we knew that this team was going to drive like no other, try to get to the rim some way, somehow. This team is not that. They're not in the top 5. They're not in the top 10. They're middle of the pack right now, averaging 47 drives per game. This is a team that was averaging 50 to 60. And so, and I bring that up because when we talk about threes, it's guys are shying away from embracing contact, slowing down the game, getting to the free throw line. That is what driving does. It shows that you're willing to get physical and fight for that. And a game like tonight, that's what you should be doing to slow down the Thunder, because if you're not going to do that, we're going to have a team that just is getting in rhythm and stays in rhythm. Yeah. So they got to work on that too, man.
Big time. Big time, man. All right, let me salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and Alex on the ones and twos. Knicks get the doors blown off 126-101. Wasn't even that close. However, we got to shout out one of our sponsors of the night, and that is DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Hey, man, from football playoffs to college to pro basketball to the rush of hockey, if that's what you're into, it's all happening. And you can get in on all the action of the sports you love at DraftKings Sportsbook. With so many sports, there's almost unlimited opportunities to place your first bet every day. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, pick your team, like the Knicks, and place your bet. And here's something special for all of our new customers, Al. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And that is with our guys at DraftKings Sportsbook, man. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. That's or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario for our friends up north of the border. This is for new customers only, this promo. And the bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Okay, there we go. Shout out to our guys at DraftKings. All right, let's pull up some of these sound bites, man, because some of these were a little bit spicy. Yeah, that's what you're saying, right? Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it.
Josh Hart's getting spicy, man. We got to watch that one.
Let's get right to it. Let's go straight to heart. Let's go straight to heart. See what he's talking about, man. He's got a lot to say sometimes. Let's go. Let's go to heart. Hang tight, everybody. Let me pull it up right now. Here we go. This is Josh Hart meeting with the media in the locker room after tonight's loss. Here we go.
After this one, Josh, I think you guys are 4-7 against top 8 teams in the league. I think that you have enough here to compete against those teams.
Yeah, I think we do. I think at the end of the day, we have to go out there and execute at a high level. We have to go out there with energy. We have to go out there with no egos. We have to go out there with no individual agendas. We have to go out there and sacrifice. I think that's the biggest thing. We're a new group. We're still learning.
Let me run this. Let me run this back because the volume was a little bit low. We want to make sure we hear him so that we can break this thing down. All right, let me run it back. Here's Josh Hart in the locker room with the media on tonight's loss. Here we go.
Enough here to compete against those teams.
Yeah, I think we do. I think at the end of the day, we have to go out there and execute at a high level. We have to go out there with energy. We have to go out there with no egos. We have to go out there with no individual agendas. We have to go out there and sacrifice. I think that's the biggest thing. We're a new group. We're still learning and still figuring it out. But we can't expect to just have talent and go out there and win games. We got to lock in and compete.
All right, Al. He said, no egos, no agendas. I mean, was he speaking in general terms? Was he addressing an elephant in the room? Was he addressing a certain player? You be the judge, man. You guys in the chat be the judge. What is Josh Hart referring to here?
This is the second time he's brought up egos.
Second night in a row. He's brought up agendas and egos.
I got to take that something serious going on in the locker room, man.
I mean, we don't hear these things on a roommate pod, man. Or can we get to this, Matt? You got to ask the right questions here, Matt. You can't just be in here just listening to your buddies talk basketball. You got to be in there asking the tough questions.
Say these people got agendas in here, man. What's the agenda? What's the agenda? Getting a bag, getting some bonuses, getting some accolades. What's the agenda over here? I want to know.
Yeah.
And look, he's absolutely right when you're talking about that. And when I hear something like that, it's not just general. You don't throw out egos. You don't throw out accolades, or necessarily not accolades, but individual agendas. and talk about sacrificing unless there's an actual issue where people are not bought in, you know? And when you bring it up 2 nights in a row, that's a little concerning, man. This is not a guy. I mean, we've heard guys talk about in the past. We know how Brunson and Hart like to communicate. They always reflect and look at themselves, right? We got to be better. We got to do this. And they're very careful with the choice of words that they use. Always have been since they've joined this team. Brunson, we already know the cookie cutter response he's always going to give. I could be better. You know, we can go out there, be better. I could be better. I got to help put my team in the best situation, this, that, and the third. Josh Hart could do the same thing. This sounds like there's something going on in the locker room. It sounds like somebody, or maybe some people are looking for the extras. You know, they're worried about money. They're worried about fame. They're worried about, getting the accolades and not really focused on winning. Because that is a sacrifice, saying that I'm not going to worry about those statistics. They're going to come naturally, and we're going to focus on getting to the promised land. That's what it sounds like to me, man. Because sometimes we know players could get too caught up in what they want to achieve personally, and it takes away from the team goal. And if, on a night-to-night basis, you're not achieving what you're looking for personally, you may not be fully bought into what the team is doing because it's not going your way. People used to complain about Julius like this, right? Not necessarily with regards to an accolade, but if he's not scoring, he's not getting the ball, he could kind of feel dejected when he's out on the court, right? Yeah. Even see Minnesota fans talk like that. I think Hart's kind of talking about the same thing, just from a different angle in the locker room.
Somebody at this guy, Matt, on Roommates, tell him we need to follow up to this question on the next pod. Pod, he needs to hold his buddies. Hold your feet to the fire, man. What did you mean about that? Who's got agendas? Who's got egos? Let's talk about the season on the Roommates pod. I think he's just asking these guys to get gritty, man. Who else is coming with me? That's what Josh Hart is saying. I can't be the only one out here diving on the floor for loose balls, diving on the floor for 50-50s. You saw that one play where, when SGA was trying to get him, at the Rucker. And Josh, that was right in front of Spike and them. If Spike was there, right in front of Spike's seats. Josh jumped on the floor. He grabbed the ball. And then, he tried to push a fast break, and then he got stuffed. He got stuffed by Jalen Williams. He did think he got fouled. Nah, that was all clean. Jalen Williams kind of sent him a message all right, this is this is our ball game. Thanks for coming. He did kind of punk him there, but I did appreciate the effort. He's looking for grit, man.
I hear you, CP, and I agree with that. But I feel like there's another layer to this. You don't just throw out, like I said, individual agendas. You don't talk about people needing to sacrifice. Let me ask you this. All last season, when did he have to say that to the locker room? When? Never. If you're saying it this season, these are new words, man.
These are new words. He's been here.
He's been here for a year and a half, now going on 2 years.
These are new words.
These are some new words that have entered the vocabulary of addressing the locker room.
He's looking for that grit, man. He's looking for that grit because he sees out there number 55 in that OKC uniform. iHeart had the grit. He had it. When everybody's like, oh, CP, man, you treating iHeart like you won a championship for us, this, that, and the third. I said, listen, man, this part of the business is going to end up hurting the Knicks for years to come.
Well, I think there's some crazy stat right now where the Thunder are 20-something and 2 with iHeart on that roster.
Yeah.
And look, it's not saying that iHeart is the generational talent like SGA and impacting the game, but just like when OG joined us, he's a missing piece for what they need and just amplifies what that team needs. Amen.
It's not what we could do.
We're looking for gritty guys, man. Guys were doing that last year. I can tell you this. Yes, there was always the one game that you're like, whoa, why did this happen? But I can tell you all last season, I don't really remember watching a game where I'm like, Knicks probably have a chance, man. They go out there, they compete. And I could say that on a night-to-night basis. The team would have a chance. It would always be a close one. We've seen now 3 games where they've gotten demolished.
Doors blown
Twice
off.
against OKC, once against Dallas.
Doors blown off. And
Too many for my liking, man, with a top-heavy roster.
Yeah. And like I said, man.
That's supposed to be claimed as one of the best starting five.
And like I said, like we see, like this is the NBA. Teams, and some nights it's just gonna be that way where it's just raining on your head. They've gone through that. They've had these type of games every single season. We've had these type of post games where it's just like, yo, we gotta cut the theatrics and get straight to it. These guys got their asses kicked. But like this is different now because it's just these losses continue to highlight the flaws of this team. And it's just sometimes it's hard to see if they can, it's hard to see them getting past that. And I think that is my challenge. Speaking of Wingstop, speaking of zero, here is Mikal Bridges meeting with the media. For the first time maybe this year, he heard boos coming down from MSG. Here is Mikal Bridges reacting to that. Here we go.
It's tough to hear the boos, or do you even hear them?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, missing, I get the missing shots. That's something you really can't control. Just keep making them, but keep getting them up. But I think, like defensively, a lot of just miscues, a lot of lack of communication, which is very boo worthy. I mean, I'm not tripping. That's just gotta be better. So.
The common thread that you continue to hear, communication.
Lack of communication, man.
Communication. And against a team like OKC, you've got to do that because they are running screens, guard screens, off-ball screens, cross screen. Like, they are running constantly. So you got to be on top of that, man, or else you're going to get this result. Cleveland's going to do the same thing. Boston is going to do the same thing. So it just seems like, is this a situation where defensively are the right guys not speaking? Are these guys not speaking? Is there more chemistry needed from a communication standpoint? They'll have to figure that out. But it just, when they point to that, it's like, damn, we 40 games in. They still feel like they're not on the same page defensively.
Which is troubling because that's their biggest weakness. And, typically point guard calls the offense. Your center's calling the defense because they're the last line of defense. They get to see the entire court, right? Or somebody in the front court usually does it. Draymond does it for the Warriors. Mitch, we've heard in the past, does that for the Knicks. Remember that article? I think it was by Fred Katz where it was like Quick would also help out with the defensive calls and coverage. And
yes.
Mitch was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, man. That's my job. You don't have to step on my toes. I got this."
Right.
But it's like usually it's somebody is helping with that communication. The fact that this is a common thread where it's like not knowing where to rotate, who's guarding who, and just when to collapse. It's very troubling, man. Very troubling. Very troubling.
Absolutely, man. The still image of Mikal Bridges. He's look at the reporter behind him. He's the reporter's like us. Mikal Bridges is just like,
man, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go chill after this one.
He's like, yeah, man.
Go on to the next one.
I'm telling you, man, those boos just wasn't a good look, man. Like, bro, they were booing you. Bro,
my man had the Tony Snell.
Yeah. You know what? No, I do like with Bridges is like, sometimes he's kind of like clueless with things, but also like that attitude. It's also good because like he won't hang his hat on a bad game. You know what I'm saying? On one hand, it's like, bro, like you have no awareness of New York. And on the other hand, it's like, this is kind of good. So you can kind of just roll this off and maybe bounce back tomorrow, bounce back Sunday. But the guy in the background, that's us. We're very annoyed.
For sure. And I'm sorry. He didn't fully have the Tony Snell. Almost. Just 1 rebound and 2 assists.
The reporter in the background is all of us right now. We're over it. That's all right, man. He had a monster December. 0 points is a bad look. But
I mean, dude, with regards to Wingstop, both of them were paid in some way, some form, right? I mean, you gave up a lot of assets to go get Mikal Bridges because you wanted to add to the wing depth. You wanted to compete with Boston. You're thinking about Tatum and Brown. Putting up a donut is unacceptable when you trade the amount of picks that you did to get Bridges. And then for OG, who's struggling right now offensively and defensively, just didn't look in it tonight, man. I mean, 2 of 8 from the field, only gets you 4 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, no blocks, no steals.
No
All
drives. Right? Did you remember did the dog make any type of notable drives in this game?
No, man, not really. Like, and if he did, I'm not thinking about it because it was just so, blasé. It's just like what's there to look at? And he got the $200 million plus bag. So between both of them, come into expectations with Wingstop. If this is what Wingstop is, good Lord.
Yeah. For sure, man. I just took a screenshot of that. People in the chat said we need that should be an eventual meme. Yeah, I think it's a meme worthy image there. So I took a screenshot. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We out here. Salute to you guys. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. We will shout you guys out. And yeah, man, tough night at the office for the orange and blue. Salute to everybody on the gram. Let's see who's on the gram. Let me scroll all the way down. Matthew Hahn, salute. Here we go. Whole Mob, Susie Parks, salute. Mella Horn, okay. On the franchise side, my franchise channel members, throw us a little comment in the chat. Let us know you in here. Dwayne Vogel, I see you. All right. Make sure I got some more super chats, and then we'll get to more calls. Big Mike, $5 super chat. Franchise channel member says, everybody calmate. Instafix Mitch gonna come in and tighten up the screws on this defense. Offense returns once 3-point shot starts falling. All right, rate that comment in the chat, man. Franchise channel member. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. What do you think, man? What do you think? He says, everybody calm down, man.
I mean, I think the reality is if we're zooming out and not looking at this, if you'll get the macro and not the micro, this team is still a good team. They're going to beat most of the teams on any given night. But where the expectation for this team is what's hurting. We came into the season with championship contention ideas, and when you get outclassed by the Thunder in the manner that you have the last 2 games, one where you were in the driver's seat, really in the driver's seat for the second and third quarter, and then you let go of the rope in the fourth. And then tonight, it's like you don't even show up for the game. It's concerning, especially after how you lost to Boston, how you lost to the Cavs, you lost to Dallas, you lost to the Rockets. You lost a really good team so far. You haven't beat a really good team yet.
And all those teams seem to be getting even better than when you saw them the last time, especially
Cleveland. And so while they're getting better and it looks like you are still having, cohesion issues defensively, offensively, it's like you're in and out at this point. There's a reason to be frustrated because they do have the talent to go out and beat a Chicago Bulls. They have the talent, even though we haven't beaten them yet. But I'm like, that's a team where it's like, all right, we can they got us those 2 games. We may get them the next 2 games.
Yeah.
Or however many we have left in the series. Hawks, we may be able to get them too, depending on the night.
That's right.
But when we're thinking about the Thunder, when we're thinking about the Celtics, when we think about the Cavs, it's like, how far are we actually from them? And look, did we see what OKC did to the Celtics this past Sunday?
Right. That's right.
True. So if we put it into context like that, the Thunder are just so deep. They're very talented. Is it to, are we blowing out of proportion? No, but where the expectation is, it's upsetting. Based up on how much you paid OG, how much Cat's contract is, right? What you traded to get Bridges in here, and then having no depth, and you want to compete, and then you're starting to see, hey, we got to really extend these guys because the lack of depth. It's frustrating when you're in the thick of it.
Shout out to K. Dot in the chat. He was at the party tonight. He said, yo, shout me out on postgame. K. Dot on the chat says, pretty soon we won't be able to beat the Spurs. And so he's tight, man. He's aggravated. Say Spurs are a team on the rise, man. They're a team on the rise. We gotta respect everybody, K-Dot. You know. Okay. All right, let's run through some more calls and then we'll wrap up. I got to get to the Day of the Jackal, man. I got to finish up that series. That series is hard right now. It's crazy, crazy show right now. Jeff on the Discord. Yeah, no, mute your mic. Jeff. Do we have? Yo.
Yo, CP Alex, how you feeling?
How you feeling, bro?
Good. Was in the building tonight, covering the squad and whatnot. And
man.
It was a good energy to start.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was good in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the first half, it was all right. The first quarter, first 5 minutes. iHeart got a good response. Like, they showed him love. They gave him a little video tribute after the first time out.
Yeah, that was nice.
So,
that was nice.
It was cool. Like, people showed him his respect. But once it got down to it, from that 15-2 run they went on in the first quarter, that was it. You didn't think it was it because you figured, all right, the Knicks was gonna come back through in the second quarter. Second quarters have been strong for them this season, and it was just that end of the first half, man. It was over. That's the first time I think they've been booed like that in the Garden all season in a while, actually. Low key, in a while. That's the first time in a while they've been booed out of the Garden.
Maybe Game 7, maybe Game 6, because that's how I felt at the watch party, man. I felt like it was Game 7 versus the Pacers. That's how I felt.
Right, but the thing was, at that point, the ticking time bomb that was all the injuries and the minutes and the playoffs and it exploded in Game 7.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like dejected. Like, you didn't want to lose to this team, but at the same time, we didn't want Alec Burks and the Hot Steppers versus the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals either, right? So,
CP
it was what it was. I mean, low-key at that point, if we was going to go out on a sweep, I'd rather get swept in the Eastern Conference Finals than lose a Game 7 when everybody gets hurt in like one game. But yeah, man, I just, I saw the board and shout out to my guy Shaw Little of MSG.
Mm-hmm.
We was talking about it. When he heard the boos, he was like, yo, why are they booing? This is a good team. I don't really like that. And I had to explain to him it's a little different because he's from the Chi, right? And I was telling him, here, it's a little bit different. It's not like they're jumping out the window. A lot of these folks, they pay good money for their ticket. This game was built up as a showcase matchup. It didn't really have a playoff atmosphere. I'm going to keep it real. It didn't have a playoff atmosphere, but it felt like you was watching a showcase. And also, the Knicks have been talking about it. The players have been talking about it. This was a get-back game.
Right, that's right.
You lost that game in
OKC.
game. This was a revenge game. This, if for those of y'all who are soccer fans, this was like the blue and orange derby because it was the Knicks were blue and orange, the Thunder were blue and orange. So this was almost built up like a rivalry game. Yeah. And this was a measuring stick to see where they fit in the rest of the league, and they failed. And it wasn't just that they was getting smacked. They were leaving dudes wide open. Hold on. Isaiah Jones just hit another 3. Hold on. Give me a second. He just hit another 3. So these dudes, that Casey Wallace ended the quarter 3 where he was like wide open in the corner.
This guy was 8 for 11 from downtown, bro.
Yo, he had the NBA Jam fire, fam. Like, he was going nuts. Like, when he hit that 30-footer, I was like, oh, it's his night. Aaron Wiggins passed him the all-spark, and he just started going crazy. Like Isaiah Joe was getting to it, but he had a lot of open shots. And that Casey Wallace end of the quarter shot where he was open in the wing off a transition, that was the one that really sent the boos going. Because it was like, okay, they killing us. Shea is cooking. He's attacking Brunson, attacking Cat. They're looking like gods right now, and y'all are just leaving them open. At least put up an effort, put up some type of resistance. That's what they were getting booed. And I thought it was funny. You played the Mikal Bridges soundbite. Yeah, I don't know if he don't know, but some of the boos, like 30% of the boos was for him.
Yeah, those are for you, fam.
I'm sorry, fam. You got a percentage of the boos because after like your 15 minutes, everybody was like, "Yo, come on, man, you gotta hit one." We can't even get off the Bronx cheer for you, right? Like you just had to sit on your head. So Yeah, man. All in all, man, I think this is a story of levels.
Yeah.
The Knicks are a mini boss right now. The Thunder are the final boss. That's
much.
what it is. They imposed their will on this team. They lost that 15-game win streak. They were coming into this game. They probably want to win it for iHeart too, and they just imposed their will.
True.
And I think the fans have to just realize the Knicks are the renovated house. This was the gutted house, and now you building it back up. You're expanding the house. It's a whole new house. OKC, they added the flat screen and a sound bar and the fancy painting that we don't know the price, but we know it cost a lot. That's what they needed to do because their house was already built. Now they were just adding the effects to make it look nicer. That's the benefit of having the continuity and their building. They've hit their final form. The Knicks kind of skipped a step. And with all these games that they're playing against contenders, they're seeing right now that they are a couple of tiers below. Doesn't mean they can't get there, but it is what it is now. And I don't know, like I heard y'all talking about the Josh Hart soundbite. First of all, the greatest trick Josh Hart ever pulled at us is believing that his soundbites actually are about something as opposed to trolling. So I don't know if he's just talking or if it's really just if he's really upset or he's really trying to send messages. And I don't know who he's trying to send them to. Maybe he's trying to send it to his mans, because I saw a different type of offense tonight. They wasn't working the way they was working in OKC. Like Brunson was heavily featured, and I'm not gonna disparage the captain. Like he's the captain, I get it, but it felt forced, bro, from the outset. It felt forced. I don't know if these guys are tired. I don't know whatever. I don't know what it was, but it just felt like for all the talk, they didn't show up tonight, and that is inexcusable. If you get beat, you get beat. If it was another close game, cool. But this was another measuring stick, and they failed. So now they got to pick themselves up. This to me is another inflection point, like the dice roll. And we don't gotta go back to that. We're not going back to that. But this is another inflection point. Show us who you are. You got to show us who you are, man.
True indeed, man. And appreciate the call, Jeff. Enjoy the weekend. Throw some fives in the chat. My guy Jeff J spitting facts, absolute facts, man. And
the analogies always kill me.
Yeah, right. And I saw it. Funny he mentioned the dice roll. I saw him right after the dice roll in the building at Madison Square Garden. That might be the last time I saw Jeff, matter of fact. So shout out to Jeff, man. It's great points. Great points all the way around. Isaiah Joe, man, 8 for 11 from downtown, 31 points off the bench. We were hoping they would close the bench gap tonight. Let's see. Isaiah Joe's 31. That's 8, 11, 19, 31. Okay, so that's 50 points. So after they scored, I believe they had 46 in the last one. They scored even more, 50 tonight. And for the Knick bench, a whopping, let's see. We got 8. All right, 19. Okay. What's that? 26, 29. All right, 31 for the Knick bench. Well, let's see who actually, we're not talking about Matt Ryan time, garbage time, and Jacob Toppin. So we could actually erase all of these. Either way, man, they got smoked. All right, man, let's go. Let's run through this Discord rapid fire, then we'll close with the rhyme animal. Zeth on the Discord, rapid fire. Let's go.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Alex, CP, thank you for having me.
First time? You sound like
first time. Yeah, long time listener, first time caller.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the program, bro.
Thank you. 2 things. I'll try to make it real quick. So I've been a Knicks fan since 2011, and definitely not the longest time, but I've had my fair share of ups and downs, good wins, bad losses, bad seasons. This loss, took it on the chin, watched the whole game through. I'm always going to watch a bad loss like this. So that's nothing to me. But as far as the season is going, we still got to give them time. I mean,
sure. Yeah.
We have to. It hasn't even been a full year yet.
Yeah.
Give it the full year. See what else we need to improve upon. The bench, obviously, we need to improve upon it. But delusional Knicks fans, right, have given this team such high expectations as soon as Cat came that we're never going to get fulfilled in 1 year. But I'm a delusional Knicks fan at heart as well, so I see where everyone else is coming from. But we just need to take it easy.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Sure. No, listen, I think, and rate that call in the chat, good people in the chat. No, I don't think anybody is, just canceling the season here. But at the end of the day, we wanted to win this game. As Jeff said, we wanted revenge. Especially when you were on such a high from the first game that you felt like, man, like if we just close out or right past substitution patterns or we execute in crunch time, we're on the level. Right? We thought that at the first game, like, oh, man, if we just fix some things here, there, tweak here, there, we're on the level.
Yeah.
And
even McBride came back. We thought
McBride came back. So you're like, okay, now we're getting a little bit whole. We're right there. We're home now. Everything is in place, and it's 10 times worse. So, Look, on a Friday night, everybody's invested. They watching the team. You're watching your squad. You want to see a W. Wasn't the result, and so this is us, man. This is just one night of therapy. But no, by all means, man, it's very, very early in the season in the grand scheme of things. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. All right. That was pretty much it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Stay up, man. Call back anytime, man.
Have a good night, guys.
Okay. All right.
And CP, it's not necessarily it's to that point. It's not necessarily it's just like it's early in the season. It's also early in the 3-4 years this team is together.
It's early in the build.
So as our guy Jeff Johnson said, like, we stripped this house, right? We're just trying to build it back together. They had to trade a lot. So as everyone has been saying, we've said it on the show multiple times, the moves they're probably going to make, the big moves or like the around the edges moves, it's going to happen this offseason. What we got this season is what we're going to be working with. They need to revamp the depth. They need to revamp how this team is going to look, and it's going to take a little bit of time.
True.
Cavs did it. Nuggets did it. Every team has gone through it, especially when you make a move as massive as trading for Cat or even trading for Bridges because now you gave up assets. So, it's going to take time. It's still very early, but you still want to see the results. I mean, we got the 5. So it's like, what can they actually do now? That's the big question.
Fresh Low 07 on the Discord. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Rapid fire. Let's go. Fresh Low. Is Fresh Low with us? Fresh Low. Okay, we don't have him. Shout out to Fresh Low. We're going to drop him off. Have a good weekend, sir. Shout out to Ice Handsome. Ice Handsome pulled up to the watch party again, Al, 2 weeks in a row. Shout out to Ice Handsome. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Ice Handsome.
Shout out to Ice Handsome, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him. Shout out Triple M. Shout out to Doug.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, shout out to Doug.
Shout out to Doug for getting on to ESPN's ESPN radio, I should say, and having his song played.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Salute. Sadat in the chat says, what's KFTV's record for watch nights? Undefeated. Undefeated.
Never lost.
We don't lose on our KFTV watch party. Because at the end of the day, whether the Knicks win or lose, hey, that's on them. You know what I'm saying? That's on them. But for KFTV, we always win, man, because when we get together with the family on a watch party, and this is with all seriousness, like, I joke a lot, but this is with all seriousness, when we link with the people in the watch party, and you see your day ones, first and foremost, like the people that's been with you week after week, day after day, year after year, month after month, and then, like, you see new people coming through, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. And, we go through it together. So we go through the highs together, we go through the lows together, wins, losses, whatever it is with the team. But for KFTV, it's always a win, man. So shout out to everybody that pulled up to Clinton Hall 36. We'll be back next Friday. I'll be there. We'll be there next Friday when the Knicks take on the Timberwolves and Julius and these guys come to town. So you guys will know where to find us. And that's where we're going to be at, man. That's where we're going to be. Okay. All right, a couple more before we wrap, man. Tone, go ahead and I'll meet your mic. Rapid fire. Let's go. Rapid fire. Tone. Oh, man.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, man, it was a terrible game, man. I'll keep it short, though.
Yeah.
Man, OG's, man, Achilles heel, man. I called a whole bunch of times and said it before, is those handles, man. He just can't get past, when it's tight defense, he can't get past nobody. And that kind of hampers everybody else because he's like just there, just a standing body on the court. And when his threes is not going, I mean, it kind of affects everything else about his game. So that's just OG. With Mikal, man, I'm gonna need Josh or Brunson, man. They gonna have to tell him like, bro, you gotta stop shooting and drive the ball. Like you can't keep shooting, missing. You owe for whatever, bro. Like everybody in the chat hoops, like I hoop, Alex hoop, like I hoop with friends all the time. The second they start missing 3, 4 shots, I'm like, bro, stop shooting, drive the ball, like because your shot not going in, bro. Like you have to do other ways to score. And lastly, man, we need a hooper on the team. What I mean by hooper is like someone that could like a Jamal Crawford type player. Like we don't have that on the team. Like besides Brunson, that's pretty much it. And I mean, Josh get his on fast breaks, but we don't have nobody that could go 1-on-1 and score.
Yeah.
That's a guard or a forward.
Yeah.
Like that can just do that. Like every team we play, the Thunder have a whole bunch of them. The Rockets have a whole bunch of them. Like all these teams, the Hawks got a whole bunch of them. Like a whole bunch of these teams that we playing that we gotta face and go against. Boston has them too. Is they all have players that could, if it needs to be 1-on-1, they'll take you 1-on-1 by themselves. We don't have that. We just have Brunson and maybe Cat sometimes. Like that's it. And then everybody else is, stand and shoot, and it's easy to guard. That's
Very
easy to guard.
Yeah.
But that's about it, man. Have a good night, man.
All good, man. You hit the nail on the head, man. Stay up, man. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch up with you on Sunday. Shout out to our guy on Tone. Shout out to Tone on the Discord. Was getting sidetracked. I was multitasking. Shout out to Tone on the Discord. And speaking of shout-outs, Al, shout out to another sponsor of the night, Skims. Shout out to our people at Skims, man. That's Kim Kardashian's line. But one thing about Skims, Al, is that they are the official underwear partner of the NBA and KnicksFanTV. So shout out to Skims. Make sure you guys go to skims.com and check out the men's collection. Now, some of the guys that you might see on Skims, you might see Donovan Mitchell, you might say Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. You might, you click away because there's no Knicks on there. But the men's line is official tissue. We definitely recommend it, and we endorse it. In particular, the men's 5-inch boxer brief, whether that's a boxer brief or the boxer brief stretch. Great material, reliable, quality material, nice neutral colors as well. And they're very versatile, man. They don't ride up on you. You could rock it when you're working out, when you're hooping, as Tone just said on the Discord. You're going for a bike ride, whatever the case may be. Cop Skims, man. Check out Skims. Check out the men's collection. It's not just underwear. They have all type of clothing, man, from T-shirts to hoodies, T-shirts, tanks. You got loungewear, pajamas, all of that good stuff. And high-quality products for today's man. So go to skims.com. Check it out. If you make a purchase, they will email you and ask you how you heard about them. Click on podcast and then click on KnicksFanTV. Let them know the good people at KnicksFanTV sent you. All right? So shout out our people over there at Skims for holding us down, man. Okay, couple more on the Discord before we wrap up tonight. Let's see who this is. Christian P. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Rapid fire. Let's go.
Christian from Indianapolis. CP and Alex, can you hear me?
Good to hear from you, man. How you feeling?
Not feeling great. Yeah. But, I just wanted to say I've been reading Blood in the Garden by Chris Herring.
Excellent book.
Christmas.
Excellent Christmas gift for you, man.
Yeah, it was. I'm a slow reader, so on chapter 5. But you know what I will say is that I'm realizing this team is missing a lot of the grit. Reflecting on the past
if you're
year.
reading Blood in the Garden, you know, man, those days are over. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a younger fan, so yeah, it's just reading back on what we used to be versus what we are now, and I followed the team last year. I just want to see some more grit. That's all it is, and that's what I want to keep it to. I just want to see that we're fighting I hate to see blowouts. You know, if this team would have hang with it for 3-4 quarters, I wouldn't have been happy if we lost, but I would have felt better. And so that's all I got to say about the Knicks. I don't think that there's many moves we can make that would, you know, propel us into the upper echelon, you know, past the fifth best record in the NBA. But you know, we just got to find our grit. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Did you watch the interview we did with Chris when we did the interview on the book?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I did.
Yeah. That's a good supplement to the book. And then a couple other 90s Knicks interviews that we have on the channel, man. Harper, Starks, Oakley. You know, those are some good ones, man, that'll kind of round things out with the book.
Daniels.
Oh, X-Man. Yeah, man. Shout out to X-Man. I was thinking about X-Man the other day, too, man. Shout out to the X-Man. We got to get him back on, have a conversation, man. Yeah, we got to get him back on. Christian P., appreciate it, man. Enjoy the book, man. I like that, Al. A younger generation, young whippersnapper, he wants to know his team history. Can't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. You know what I'm saying?
That's for sure.
Yeah. I like that. Shout out to the younger generation, man. They trying to learn. He's not just rapid fire scroll. You know, there was 80 HDs just kicking it.
I feel like we need, I don't know. Do you know a good book that could catch anybody up on the 80s? Because we got The Garden of Eden, talks about the 70s.
Yeah.
You got Blood of the Garden that talks about late 80s when you get Ewing and go through the 90s.
Yeah.
But, like, what's that in between, you know, when you think about Bernard?
I'll tell you exactly who has it. We had him on the show, man. Man, I forgot the name of this guy's book. Hold on. We're going to get through it by the end of the show. We're going to get to it. Adam Cribbles. Adam Cribbles wrote the book. He was on the show, and that interview's on the channel. And his book is called Kings of the Garden. Kings of the Garden, the New York Knicks and their city. Great book. We're going to get to Chuck to close the show. I sent one to Chuck. He's got a lot of references and a lot of appreciation for what Public Enemy did during that time frame as well. And it's a great book where it kind of picks up from after 73 and then into like the dark ages of the early 80s prior to Bernard. And then it goes into that, but it kind of parallels how New York City was during those days, the rise of hip-hop as well. It's a very interesting book, man. Adam Cribbles, that's what the book is called, and we had him on the show last year, man. It was a great book, Kings of the Garden, the New York Knicks and their city. It's a good question by you, Al, and good resource, man. Go back into the archives, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. Go back into the archives. Okay.
Trav, CP says Whippersnapper wants a show. This is now KFTV After Dark.
It
so,
is.
You know.
It is, man.
Now, if you want to play a nice little drinking game,
yes.
Take a shot every time CP says Whippersnapper.
Fresh slow. Go ahead. I'll mute your mic. Rapid fire. Fresh slow. Fresh slow 07. All right, man. Fresh slow. We're gonna let you enjoy the weekend and get.
Well, that was rapid fire. No doubt about it.
That was rapid. That was rapid fire, man. Adam Cribbles, Al. Adam Cribbles. Okay. Hilton on the Discord. I'll mute.
Yo, what up?
How you doing, man?
Yo, CP. Yo, Alex. Wagwan.
Wagwan.
I'm sick to my stomach, man. I'm very sick.
Ah, man.
Let me tell you, there's something wrong with this team. Very wrong. So if you remember when Pop was in the heights of his career with the Spurs, whenever the Spurs think of the joint, he called them out.
He'll bench the whole five.
He will tell them that, look, you played like garbage. I'm not hearing Tibbs telling the guys that. I'm not hearing Tibbs telling the guys that he's sugarcoating stuff when they're interviewing. Right? The next thing. I hear the minutes police crying, and during the 9-game win streak, nobody said the guys were tired. Nobody said the guys were tired during that 9-game win streak. Let me you know, because you have the stats. of those 9 games, how many of those teams were above 500?
From the 9, probably not too
The
many.
9 game winning streak.
Yeah,
The
we'd have
teams
to
that
look
they
and
won.
check. We'd have to look and check, but yeah, I have to look and check.
So remember when I called and I said, look, we can't be struggling with the Magics and the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we're struggling with those teams, we're not going to beat the Celtics, the OKC, the Cavs. And it is proving to be true. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, OKC is way elite than us. But I'm saying, the guys on the floor, they have to want to win. If they cannot score the ball, do not allow the opponents to score. Let it be a butt ugly game. We're giving these guys 2 easy shots.
Yeah.
And they're just scoring at will. Man, I'm just sick. I'm sick. Something needs to change about this team. I'm sick. Come on, man.
Let's go. Throw some 5s in the chat, man. Throw some 5s in the chat, man. Shout out to Hilton from the yard calling in. That might be a call of the night. Maybe I'm a little biased. You know what I'm saying? That might be the call of the night. Brethren came in with the mathematics, though.
Brother, that man was spitting facts.
Yo, he's spitting facts. He's spitting facts, man. Throw some 5s in the chat, man.
You tell that's a hard-working man right there. He's like, I am disgusted.
He's tight. He's tight, man. But yeah, it does seem like something is missing. And what did Josh Hart mean? We got to get to the bottom of that. Got to get to the bottom of that, man. A lot of 5s in the chat. Might be the call in the night, man. Hilton on the
Throw
chat.
some Jamaican flags in the chat,
yeah,
too.
throw
Come
some
on.
Jamaican flags in the chat, man. Respect to the brethren. Mr. B. Salute. Christopher Blake. Salute. Salute, man. All right, man. Let's close it out with the rhyme animal, Chuck D. Chuck, how you feeling, man? Well, first and foremost, I mean, hopefully, everything is good. There's a lot going on out west with the wildfires. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that you're good. And yeah, man, go ahead and unmute your mic. Chuck D on the Discord. We got the rhyme animal. Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. It is what it is, but I'm good. Thank you. And I got to follow up on Hilton, man. I'm coughing blood.
Yeah.
It is what it is. My points is like, hey, listen, man, OKC knows each other. And out there in Oklahoma City, there's no distraction. Ain't nothing to do out there other than go to the gym, go home, go back to the gym and work on their plays. But it is what it is. But hey, listen, don't take nothing away from Shea. SGA, let me tell you, man, I ain't never seen a superstar in a long time that I hardly ever see in the game. It's like that dude spends more time on the bench.
Right.
And then he comes in, runs up his numbers, plays the D. And then every time I say, well, where's Shea? And he's on the side cheering his team on. So that has something to do with that camaraderie too.
You were there last week, front and center with the mayor OKC, man, Dennis Scott. What was the biggest difference from your vantage point when you saw this team and you saw this game in person to tonight? Because it seemed like 2 different teams.
Knicks were beating them up. They just was beating them up and imposing a physical will on them. And then I was looking at Bridges was posting up in the paint. They didn't really have an answer for them. In the beginning, they was throwing it down in the cat. They was feeding cat. And then they just stopped. And it looked like OKC was trying to figure it out. And in the fourth quarter, I think I went to the bathroom. I came out, and they was on another one of those runs that resembled the night, like that 15-2 night run that Jeff alluded to. And all of a sudden, you can't even catch back up when a team like that gets a run on you. So listen to Clyde and also CK at the same time. Yo, man, if your defense can't help form your offense, you in trouble. And if I had to look into what Josh was saying from the outside looking in, I think all the way up to now, it's like, what's going to break that polite ice between the locker room players? I think Josh could say anything he wants to say to JB, but can he say the same thing to OG? Can he say the same thing to Mikhail right now? I think they might be a little sensitive, or somebody might be sensitive in there. So I think somebody's going to have to break, and every locker room has to get to a summit where they feel comfortable to kind of chew each other out, and then people start looking at their own accountability. And I don't think that happens overnight, and it might not even happen in a half a season. This is something. Look, how long did it take for Brown and Tatum to actually get on the same page?
True.
It took them like years, and that years, man.
Years.
And when it comes down to it, it's like the regular season. Increasingly, the regular season is almost like night and day with the playoffs, where you need to beat a team 4 times. And that's why a team like Boston, Milwaukee, even Dallas, they're scary. OKC still got a lot to prove. They got to prove something to their fans that they can get to the Western Conference Finals and win it. So they're not going to be totally sleep. They're going to come out with a vengeance and not be sleep, where sometimes we might be going through a bit of purchase privilege, and you're not going to win the game with your paycheck. One thing I was actually happy at looking at tonight, and I don't know if it amounts to anything because it was funny. Y'all called it Matt Ryan time. I know CK will be happy with that. But Huck Porty, man, I don't understand. You got a 7-footer there. He shoots like a basketball player. He defends like a basketball player. He's mobile like a basketball player. He passes like a basketball player. He blocks shots like a basketball player. And the way he came from half court and blocked that shot tonight, yeah, it might have been garbage time, but if we're talking about a bench, we ain't got nothing like that on the bench. And sometimes looking on the sidelines and seeing Mitch sitting on the side with street clothes, I don't know if that's encouraging or discouraging. But I just think that in that locker room, somebody has got to break the polite ice. Even sometimes it gets into a fight mode, in order to get that ID back. Last note tonight, what was our ID for the last 3 seasons? The Knicks in the regular season always played playoff basketball. We've seen Josh Hart tonight. I swore Josh was in the 7th game of a playoff, like a little bit of the third quarter. And so that's the guy that's probably going to break that locker room ice, and then it might even cause even more drama. But the Knicks need it. They're too polite to each other. Towns he looks too polite to OG, who might be too polite to McHale, and JB's a leader trying to reform it. He might be too polite. Neither dude that comes in there and say F all y'all, and I'm really I mean, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think Josh was polite, and I think he's probably getting tired of being polite in the locker room.
100%. 100%. Throw some 5s in the chat from the OG, man. Throw some PEs in the chat from the OG. That was some
I'm
facts.
just guessing. I'm just guessing. Look at OKC.
Right,
OKC,
though,
when Chet and Caruso come back, they might even go through a couple of losses or whatever. Chemistry's a big thing, man.
Yeah.
And but we ain't got to worry about them. They already on their own trajectory. The Knicks got to get to know each other, and that clock has the hourglass on it.
Well said. Well
salute
said,
y'all.
OG.
Oh yeah, by the way, before I go, yes, I had the Adam J. Cribbles on the desk.
Yes.
Kings of the Garden, perfect book. The New York Knicks in their city, perfect book. The wedge between the 70s Knicks and the success and the 90s Blood of the Garden. That's the perfect book in between. Excellent. You've had all of them on KFTV interviewing, and all a person got to do is go to the archives, get that Knick history, and get ready.
There you go.
I'm
there
out,
you
y'all.
go, man.
Salute,
OG,
y'all.
we appreciate you, man. Appreciate that. The OG
Peace.
lessons. Let's go, man. I think he's absolutely right on that, Al. You know what I mean? Need somebody to break up that chumminess. It ain't all good over here. All right? It ain't all good. We're trying to get to the promised land. It's time to tighten up. It's time to throw that New York grit into the mix. We got expectations. Don't be afraid of the expectations, family and people in the fan base. You're invested in this team. You're going to the games. You're watching on TV. And oh, by the way, our Optimum fans, bad news. because Optimum and MSG have officially broken up. All right, so that means you got to come back here for the number one show for the fans by the fans, play-by-play live with CK2K until you figure out a proper alternative. But he's right, Al. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is with Chuck, he's been a part of groups. He understands that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to play the bad cop if everybody else in the group is not carrying their weight. Could be Josh Hart.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be Josh.
Yes. Yes, it will be. Yeah, definitely.
It's got to be Josh, man. It's going to be Josh. It's got to be Josh.
Yeah, for sure, man. So as Chuck said, yeah, man, you got the Garden. When the Garden was Eden, covers the 70s or lead up to that championship. Adams Cribble's book, Knicks in the City, right? What I say it was called? New York Knicks in the City, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then you have Blood in the Garden. Read those three in sequence for our young whippersnappers out there. Read those three.
Take a shot.
Who's gonna do the book on the 2000s?
Oof, good Lord. Well, you know what? Hold on. For that, you can just go to The Athletic and go listen to Chuck D, the man himself.
I was on there. Shout out to Chuck. Yeah, man. Listen to Shattered on The Athletic. That's a podcast format. Yeah. Who's going to do the book on the 2000s?
God bless. And today we're interviewing Isaiah Thomas.
Marty Collins. Marty, tell us about the fight.
Chris Duhon, what did you think when Shaq shoved you?
Yeah. All right, man. Let's wrap it up and get out of here. I'm watching. $10 Super Chat says Tibbs is not the issue. You swap coaches and put Tibbs on the Thunder, and we get the Thunder's coaching. This is still a blowout. It's a defense effort with bad shot attempts. Well, you know, I think some of the Tibbs criticism tonight was fair, but ultimately, you know, I think this was a roster issue tonight that showed. Well, let's see what they come back with Sunday against a better Milwaukee Bucks team who will be remembering the last time they came to MSG and got washed. Shout out Del.
Yep. Don't forget, after that, it's a back-to-back, so they're going to have Milwaukee and then a surging Detroit Pistons team.
Then you got Cade and them coming back for more. Don't sleep. Del Will, $10 Super Chat says, I Heart Julius and Dante were our identity. Josh is our only crash out left. Otherwise, we kind of finesse, like, to put it kindly. Shout out to Del Will. Shakia Collender, welcome to the franchise channel memberships as well, man. You know, once again, man, anybody who has people on the West Coast, somebody from Left Coast Knicks was in town and came to the watch party tonight. I forgot the brother's name. Shout out to him. But yeah, anybody in our Left Coast Knicks crew, our Left Coast Knicks fans, enter the Nick first. Shout out to George. Any of you guys out there, man, you know, we definitely thinking about you guys. We keeping you guys in our thoughts, our prayers, and just stay up. Salute to you guys, man. It's a tragic thing that's going on out there in Cali, and we just hope the best for everybody that's impacted. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it. You can catch it on all major podcast platforms, and we'll see you guys Sunday, man. Knicks versus Bucks. Shout out to our sponsors. Go to manscaped.com. Go to manscaped.com. Use our code KFTV. 20% off plus free shipping. Use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code KFTV. Bet 5 and get $200 in bonus bets. And check out Skims. Check out the men's catalog. And once you make a purchase, just let them know that the good people at KFTV sent you, man. All right, Al. Let's get some sleep, man. We out of here. Peace.